For more on the CBO score in the Senate's health care bill, we're also watching for the president to potentially answer questions about that and about the Supreme Court's decision supporting his temporary travel ban. We're going to take you live to the Rose Garden when the president does come out with India's Prime Minister Modi. Joining me now, we've got economist and author Ben Stein. What do you think, Ben? The CBO says 22 million are going to be uninsured in 10 years' time. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the correct number of uninsured that we should have in the United States of America is 0. I'm not sure that that 22 million is a realistic number because obviously certain portions of Obamacare are fading out or being phased out. So the idea that we were going to have a perfect system under Obamacare and returning it to an imperfect system under the Senate or the House bill is completely wrong. It always has been completely wrong.
And, you know,
Obamacare was always built on smoke and mirrors, and now we're trying to clear away the smoke and mirrors and get something realistic. Yeah,
the 22 million includes 15 million who will forego insurance because the mandate tax goes away. That doesn't mean they wouldn't. That means they could potentially use the tax credits to buy insurance. That's not a static number. That 15 million could change. They could get coverage, right?
Right, and they could get coverage, and also, as long as they're covered by something, it's okay. There should be no one in America who is uncovered by anything, but there should be a way that they get even some basic coverage through Medicaid or something else. But it is very, very important for us to realize that, at least to me, and I'm just speaking of me, it's not important to cut taxes on the rich. I know that the part of the bill is to cut taxes on the rich. I don't see any importance in doing that. The rich are rich. That's why they don't need a tax cut. They're rich already.
Wait a minute. Obama and Joe Biden, they sold Obamacare as hiking taxes on the rich. So logically, if you're going to do away with those taxes, those are taxes that were going to hit the upper brackets anyway. That's how they sold the plan to begin with, as tax hikes on the rich. So logically, it means if you get rid of those taxes, then that's who the taxes go away. That's who it hits, right?
But I like having taxes on the rich. I think it's fine. I think the rich are too rich in this country. But look, the idea that a rich person should have his taxes cut and that therefore any American should lose their health insurance is just an outrage.
Okay, we can disagree about that. But you're talking about small businesses. So we've got to move on to House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Earlier said the president does not need to go back to the drawing board. Let's watch.
We feel very confident with where the bill is, and he's going to continue to listen to senators who have ideas about how to strengthen it. But it's going to follow the same plan as we have.
Okay, they're sticking with the plan. Again, Ben, you've seen this too. How the CBO is routinely attacked. It said Obamacare would cover at least 21 million by now. It covered 10 million exchanges, 9 million on Medicaid. So do you think the CBO is correct now in saying 22 million uninsured in 10 years' time?
The CBO is always just doing estimates, guesses. It's not a science. It's art, much more than science. They don't know anything precise about anything in the future. I mean, it's like climate science. We can't tell what the climate's going to be like tomorrow. We certainly can't tell what's going to be like in 100 years. So, similarly, with the CBO forecast, we can't tell what's really going to happen in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. There'll be all kinds of dynamic changes. But as I say, the key thing is I think Mr. Trump is saying, let's be realistic. Obamacare was always based on false promises and false premises. We're going to get to something that is solid rock in terms of giving Americans coverage, and that's what I want to see. If the CBO says there are going to be 22 million who cannot get insurance under anything, that's definitive. Ben, but as you so correctly put, they can get under something else.
Good point. Ben, moving on because we want to get your reaction to the President Trump declaring victory on the Supreme Court today, reinstating key parts of the refugee pause. It's his executive order. Several appeals courts ruled against it. The Supreme Court lifted the stay against his temporary travel ban. He said, quote, very grateful for the 9-0 decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. We must keep America safe. This is about national security. Even left-leaning justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, Stephen Breyer, they voted to lift the stay and put in place for now the refugee pause. What are your thoughts?
I think that the Supreme Court's decision today was the most important Supreme Court decision since the desegregation decision in 1954. This was a decision that said that the President and the Congress are going to keep control of immigration, especially the President. That's clear in the Constitution. There's no question about it. The Ninth Circuit was running amok, running berserk, wild rebellion in that circuit against the law of the land. The Supreme Court has said, no, 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 we're going to follow the Constitution. Had we let the Ninth Circuit have its way, then the courts of the United States would be able to block anything. They could block the President and the Congress declaring war. The Supreme Court of the United States said, no, back to the Constitution, gentlemen and ladies. We're not going to play games with the Constitution.
So it's not a Muslim ban. So Ben, it's not a Muslim ban. If it was a ban on Muslims, you would have had Saudi Arabia. You would have had Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Indonesia on the list of the six. Who was that? Who said that, guy? Sebastian Gorka pointed that out. Go ahead, Ben.
It never was a Muslim ban. It was a perfectly sensible decision, and the Supreme Court today really covered itself in glory. The Supreme Court basically said, people of the Ninth Circuit, get your heads on right. Yeah. Okay. We're going back to the Constitution. Vital.